Hello students, today I'll be teaching you the third program. I'll be teaching you the third program that is uh, exception handling. So first you should understand what is exception handling. So again in the third program there are two programs. One is exception handling and one more is threat concepts. So these two programs you should study. So 3A, that is exception handling. So in exception handling we are doing exception handling by using the try and catch clause. So why actually we made this? So it's a very simple program. Actually, the try and catch clause are used to catch the unexpected errors that occur during the execution of the program. So what is the advantage of using try and catch clauses? The unexpected code that which you think that it might generate errors can be put into the try block, and the if at all an error occurs, that will be caught by the catch block, and further it will start executing the next statements in the program. Suppose if you don't use try and catch block, and if an error occurs somewhere in between somewhere of the program, then the program will abnormally terminate. Suppose if you think the error occurs at line number 13, suppose you are here, there is a code, result is equal to a divided by b. Suppose the b value is 0. So if an error occurs there, that is we cannot divide any number by 0. So if an error occurs there, then the program will terminate at the line number 13 and it will not move forward. Suppose if you don't use try and catch block. So to avoid abnormal termination of program, we go for exception handling. So exception handling can be done by using try and catch block, even so the code which might generate errors or may not. So you have some confusion that this particular code might generate errors. So you put that code in the try block and use a catch block. So if an error occurs, that will be caught by the catch block. And further, if there are more number of statements in the program, that statements will be executed without any interruption and the program will terminate normally. So this is the advantage of using try and catch block. So now I'll execute the program and show you. Before that, there is a class division here and there is a main program. There are two variables. We are using a scanner to take the input from the keyboard. So we are taking two inputs A and B, and the inside the try block we are calculating we are doing the division operation A divided by B, and we are printing the results. And inside the catch block, if any attempt is being done, if a division by 0 happens, that error is being caught by this catch block and it tells a divide by 0 error has occurred. And finally, this statement is to make you understand that how try and catch block will help us in avoiding abnormal termination. This statement I'll tell you. First, I'll execute the program and try to show you. Now I say I run the program. I'll enter two integers, that is 4 and 2. So the answer is 2. And also the hello everybody is been printed. So see, the answer is 2 and also the hello everybody is been printed. Okay, now see the next sorry. Now I see I'll make an attempt to divide by 0. Now you see it is exactly saying divide by 0 error occurred, but where it occurred actually, see line number 13. So if you the A value I have given as 4 and B value I have given as 0. See here, the A value I have given as 4 and B value as 0. When I perform division operation, divide by 0 error has occurred. So after 13, that error is being caught by this catch block and it is telling divide by 0 error has occurred. And then, but also the program is not being terminated abnormally. The next statements of the program are executed successfully. See, hello everybody is being executed. Now, next step I'll show you. Suppose if I don't use try and catch block, what kind of error you will see. So suppose just I will comment the try block, and what I'll do, I'll comment the catch block. So you'll understand Actually, what is the main advantage of using try and catch block? So now if you see, now I have commented the try block and catch block, and just I have two operations I have, that is calculating the division operation and just printing it. And this hello everybody. Now you see what happens. I'll run the file. I'll run it with 4 and 2. So here there is no problem. See, 4 and 2 is been given and the result is to hello everybody is printed. For this input there is no problem. Suppose if I attempt with a 0, suppose if I attempt with a 0, see what happens. See, now I am attempting with 0. See, now the system has popped out an error message at line number 13. Divide by 0 error has been occurred, and after that the program abnormally terminated. How I am trying to say that? See here, this particular message is not being printed. See, hello everybody message is not being printed. Just observe here. So at line number 13 the error occurred and the program abnormally terminated. So the further statements in the program did not execute at all. So that is what is the advantage of using try and catch block. So what is the main advantage of using try and catch block is, even though if an error occurs in some part of the program, the program should not be terminated at that point of time. What has to be done is we have to catch that error. For later we will investigate on that error, and what we have to, the other statements in the program has to be executed successfully. So that is what is exception handling using try and catch block. Now going to the next program, here there is one more program where we use 3 threads. Okay, so what I'll tell you a brief idea of what is happening in this program. There are 3 threads. The first thread selects a number. Let us say 2. So the second thread, what is the duty of the second thread is to find the square of that number. So 2 2s are 4. And the duty of the third thread is used to find the cube of that number. So example, if you have given the number as 2 means 2 into 2 into 2. It is 2 2s are 4, 4 2s are 8. So first thread identifies a number, second thread finds the square of that number, third thread finds the cube of that number. Okay, so let us see how it works. So here we are using the method for there are 2 methods of creating threads in Java. That is by extending the thread class, and one more is by using the runnable interface. So here the operations that has to be performed by the thread is put inside the run block. So see here there is a thread, second thread. It implements the runnable interface, and it has a constructor which takes the value of x. So x is the number that is selected by the first thread. Okay, just observe carefully. X is the number selected by the first thread. Assume it is 2. So that 2, using this constructor, that 2 is stored in one more variable x1. And this is a second thread. What it actually performs is square of that number x. So that x is stored in x1, and the square of that is performed by x1 into x1. Similar way, the third thread implements a runnable interface. There is one more variable x2, and here there is a constructor that is being used. The value of x, that is the number selected by the first thread, is stored in the variable x2, and the operation that has to be performed by the third thread is put into the run block. And what is happening here? x2 into x2 into x2. The cube of that number is found out. And now I'm coming to the first class. The first thread, you extends the thread class, and inside this, what operations are being happening, I'm going to explain one by one. The first thread extends the thread class. In this program, I have used both the methods of creating thread in Java. One method is extending the thread class, and one more method is by using the runnable interface. So both the methods I have used so that students will be able to understand both the methods of creating threads in Java. So here the first thread extends thread class and public void run. Okay, what I'm doing inside this function. Okay, I'm using again a try block as well as a catch block. Inside the try block, now I am selecting a number. I'm selecting a number out of 100. Means I'm using a random number generation here. Randomly I'm selecting one number, and that random number should be something between 0 to 100. So once I select a random number, that is each time I execute the program, different number I can take. That is the advantage of using random number. So see, so random is a built-in class. I'm using a object R. So using that R object, I am running the function next int. So each time I execute this program, each time the for loop executes, one random number will be selected that is between the range 0 to 100. So after selecting it, that number is stored in the variable number, and that variable is given as a parameter to the second thread T2. Okay, and T2 dot start. Okay, that starts the second thread. Okay, which performs the square of the number, and the thread T3 takes the number as the input, and T3 dot start will start the third thread, that is here. See, third thread. Okay, and which calculates the cube of that number. And if at all any error is happening, that will be caught by the catch block. And there is a main class here called as multi-thread, which instantiates the thread 1. See, the first thread should be started, the first thread is here. The first thread is here. It has many operations, means it is generating a random number, starting the thread 2 as well as starting the thread 3. Suppose the random number generated is 2, the thread 2 performs the square of that, the thread 3 performs the cube of that. So the thread 1 has many operations. Now this thread 1 has to be started, that is performed by these two statements. You start the first thread, create an instant of the thread, and you start it. So, and finally, I will run this program and show you the execution. So see here, the first thread generated is 72. The square of that 72 is 5184. The cube of that 72 is 373284. So here random number is being generated that can be anything between 0 to 100. So suppose you want a smaller number, you don't want a bigger number, then you take this as 10, you take this as 5. So see, any random number that is ranging from 0 to 5 will be selected. Just see how the program runs now. See, now the random number selected is 4. The second thread generates the square of that, that is 16. The third thread generates the cube of that, that is the 64. And one more thing, here I have used a for loop where I have given a range as 1. Suppose you want to select 3 numbers whose square and sum has to be calculated, just use 3 here. Then what happens, we'll see. Then run the file. See here, the first number selected is 1. The square of that is 1 and cube of that is again 1. The second number selected is 4. The square of that is 16 and the cube of that is 64. The third number that is selected is 3. The square of that is 9 and the cube of that is 27. So this is how the program works. Now that is the end of the third program. So third program has 2 programs, that is, one is exception handling, one more is the thread concept. So both the programs have finished. So the next class I'll be explaining the fourth program.